Hello guys, and welcome to a new Star Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 3 versus 3 on Beshankovichy, and in this one I'm going to be playing with the 2nd New Zealand. I don't think I've done a video with the 2nd New Zealand before, so kind of playing catch up. It's like a gameplay video, that is. And also Beshankovichy is a very rare map that I show in multiplayer. It does come up occasionally in single player and in the campaign and stuff, but in multiplayer it's actually quite rare. Let me have a quick look at my deployment. We got some Catadromis heading up some diggers and oblites, with the digger leader following up, and the Sherman 3 with 2-star veterancy out the gate. We got the 81mm mortar to provide some smoke on the approach. 2 more Catadromis, oblite, digger with a 6-pounder here. That's going to be moving in to get in position on this left-hand side to shoot up the road from a distance, followed up by a digger leader there as well. We've got 2 50 cals in the town on the left with a 17-pounder moving into the back garden here, and a Spitfire at the start, which does have a really nice payload. These Spitfires have 227 kilogram bomb and 2 113 kilogram bombs with a 220 mils and 4 30 cals. So a really nice fighter bomber, which can wipe out infantry squads in one run, and then proceed to take on other aircraft. You can see I'm already kind of targeting this Ju-87 mid-map. They're not the fastest in the world. They're 545 km/h speed, so pretty fast for a fighter bomber, but will get outshone by like a Focke-Wulf or a Bf-109, which has like 600 km/h speed plus. So here on this map, it's quite a close range engagement. The line of sight can be a bit weird, as you can see, like when you're in the heavy cover here, or, well, technically this is no cover, just for a little bit, and then it goes back into light cover, so you end up having this like see-through cover in between, as you can see. So it can be a bit weird on this map, on the edge of the tree line, so you've got to be really careful with your placement. But Gruvin's coming in at the start with these SBW 231s. He's playing with the 21st Panzer. That's who we're mainly going to be up against in this one. I'm going to be trying to pop as many of these 231s with the Sherman as I can, whilst avoiding the Panzer III and the M4 shots. Digger's going to be using the Piat, or trying to get the Piat close enough, but does unfortunately get spot. Spitfire's coming in. I'm trying to get it in a good place to drop a nice bombing strike in here. So the Catadromis engaging the Panzergrens. They are a 8-man flamer squad. We got them 2-star vet because of the digger leader. They're going to make short work of Panzergrens at close range. Nice bombing strike there is going to pin down all of the infantry that was with the convoy, and that's going to allow my Sherman 3 to move up and get a bit of damage on there as well. So just trying to take control of the trees on either side, and then we can collapse onto the armour. Now if the armour that he had, the Panzer IV and the Panzer III, had pushed aggressively with all those 20 mils, he might have overrun this Sherman 3, and I was a bit worried. You can see that Sturmsource pinged have fun, because he saw the amount of stuff I was up against. But we're doing okay. We have managed to, make him fall back for the time being. He's trying to preserve his forces. A nice bombing strike there as well does pin down these troops. I'm going to have to make sure I fall them back so they don't get surrendered, but I'm getting the better of a few of his Panzergrens here at the same time. So we're sort of throwing infantry backwards and forwards. His infantry just isn't good enough in this phase to deal with the Catadromis, and the 21st Panzer is always going to have that problem, at least until they get Pioneers. Now, just to cover our teams, we do have Sturmsource with the 2nd Guards Tank Corps, and there's also the 3rd Guards Tank Corps here under AIM. The other players on the enemy team are Otago and Jonka, who are playing with the 11th SS and the 12th SS Panzer. Now, I was moving up my 30 cal carrier with my infantry to help surrender and pin down those Panzergrens. Unfortunately, it gets taken out there by the abundance of armoured cars. I'm just trying to use this Catadromis to finish off the lone Panzergren, but he can still use a machine gun, so got to be a little bit careful there and not let the Catadromis run into all of these 20 mils, which is, well, exactly what I do. So you can see how quickly that went down. I did have the 6-pounder in here, but that got wiped out pretty fast as well once it got spotted. So yeah, I'm kind of in a position where my Sherman 3 can maybe kill a few of these vehicles with some micro, but ultimately I just need like a few more tanks or AT guns and whatnot to help me out here. I'm hoping that also the diggers can give me a hand, like, because I've got the digger leader, the diggers with Piats, those will be able to potentially get some shots on. So you can see I've kept the diggers relatively close to the road, and I'm moving these up as well, keeping the rest of them spread out just in case we get any bombing strikes coming in from the Focke-Wulf 190s. But I'm happy that I've moved up enough here to capture this flag. My next flag after this one would likely be the one to the left, because the ones further back are very close to the spawn, as you can see. So this would be a really, really hard place to attack. But here is okay, because I can control this by controlling this heavy cover. It's just I need to control the right side first, because otherwise if you try and push across the open ground here, you can get shot from the left, and you can get shot from the right. So if there's any infantry in here, they can sneak AT guns all the way down here and get them in here. And then as soon as you're trying to make a push up here towards this flag at the crossroad, you just get smacked from both sides. So making sure at least one of your flanks is secure before you go for this flag on this map is pretty important. And so far so good. Getting extra Shermans up, as I said. We got the scouts coming up as well, because whilst I am spotting a few of these infantry and so on, I don't have a clue where all the armour went. Greuven's just kind of moved it back. He's really fallen back with all of it, and it's kind of confused me quite a bit at this point in the game. Greuven was playing rather unconventionally, and it did throw me off, or did put me off guard. I wasn't sure if I should keep pushing forwards to try and get a little bit of an extra advantage here or not. Ended up getting my Sherman 3 turret stuck by an 88 that was placed back here. And again, another reason to have the recon come up, because yeah, my Sherman's not going to see an 88. It needs help. Like these days, after the range changes and the optics changes on tanks, Shermans, or any tank for that matter, do have really bad optics. So you can see the optics there are very low on the information, and so an 88 or an AT gun is going to see your Sherman way before the Sherman can see it, and that can cause issues. So I'm going to allow the diggers here to engage the Panzergrenz a little bit. We do have 2 Brens and the 8 Lienfields on a digger squad, but 2 MG42s is still pretty potent. My Spitfire's going to come in for the bombing strike instead, just to try and finish these off. We are going to take a shot from the 88, which is going to make the bombs spread a little bit, not get the kill. But I do have a second bomber on the way, looking to finish things off. And those bombs hit true, take out one of the Panzergrenz squads there, the other one's going to get away. We're also seeing some shots from either a Flakverling or like an SDK FZ71 back towards us. So I've got the Maori scouts back up here now. You can see the tanks over there. There's a tank in the light cover here. We've got the Panzerschreck. Cargo's actually got a tank here as well. That's going to be a Stug 4. So can't really push forwards too much. I've got to get the Sherman 3 fixed up at some point. We've got the Sherman 3s back here in reserve, and until I really get my scouts into a position to see where all of their armour is, I can't really move up. And as we can see, here is all of the armour that I was just talking about that previously retreated. So 2 M4s, a few Panzer 4s in there as well. Otago's decided to try and help out here by bringing in some Flammenwerfer squads. Now the Caledromists, of course, should win out because they are pretty much the same, just with more men. So with the 4 grease guns there, they can take care of those flamethrower squads quite nicely. But in a 2v1 situation, the Flamers might get the better of a Caledromist squad, just because it will keep them moving. The Caledromist then will not be as effective with its own flamethrower, and that starts to cause issues. So currently we're 14 to 10 on the map. In the middle of the map, Sturmsource does currently have the presence over this flag. This flag's actually kind of hard for the opposition to defend because of Sturmsource having the town on his side. It's the same over here though, because technically the blue side should have an easier time grabbing this area because they've got a lot of cover for their roads coming in to reinforce. You can see here the Pioneers coming in from Otago. They're going to help out Greuven. I've got to be really careful just not to get a grenade thrown at me after engaging initially with the flamethrower, because the flamethrower does fire before a HE grenade, but as soon as the Pioneers stop, they're gonna try and lob it. So you either pin them down and kill them off, or you use the flamer when they start moving, as soon as they stop, you move away, and then you should be fine. In the bottom left, you can see I've got 3 Spitfires now. These Spitfires are fantastic with those payloads. They really, really are. I'm going to start just putting some pressure onto those M4s as well with the mortar fire. Sturmsource also going to be pushing up a T-34-85 now. Those T-34-85s can dispatch medium armor very well due to the 145 mils of penetration. And that's going to force Gruvin to shift back his medium armor once again. So got some uploads now coming in. Sturmsource does manage to pick off one of the Panzer IVs at least. Now the 17 pounder has been brought in as well into the back garden. You can see I've got this one in here. I can move that forwards if anything tries to put pressure from the crossroads. And I've got the 17 pounder here that can move forwards to the edge and cover this crossroad. Really nice kill there as well from the T-34-85 1944. Getting a one-shot kill with the APCR. Really nice critical strike there. Usually it would take probably 2 or 3 shots from an APCR to kill a Stug, but in that case, nice crit ammo explosion I think it was. Managed to get the kill. Loads of Pioneers being brought in. They will take shots across from the T-34-85 once it gets its turret turned. I could see this coming because of the scouts here. Chilling, giving me information. I do love the units in the 2nd New Zealand, they look really cool. Very, very nice models. All of them are very unique. You got the diggers here. And then the Karadramis. You see all the uniforms are different. It's really, really cool. So yeah, all of these infantry covered by the T-34-85 were pushing into the heavy cover here just to try and make some serious ground. Grab another flag potentially so that if Sturmsource ends up capturing the middle flag, we actually go 15-9, which would allow a double tick advantage on the score. So Dingo now on the way as well. I've got a couple of Bofors up. So we're going to be bringing in a Dingo to sit next to them, give them 2-star veterancy. Spitfire's coming in for the bombing strike onto the edge of this tree line, just to make sure I can get rid of any infantry that's hanging about. Managed to successfully surrender them, and this bomber also managed to take out the Panzer IV, so that was really nice. I did have to do a little bit of micro there just to dodge the bomb with my own forces, but all those Spitfires get out unscathed, and we managed to get a really, really good position here, which allows me to capture the flag. It's going to be much harder for him to sit in the light cover and capture this than it is for me to sit in the heavy cover, because it's easier for us to spot him in the light cover than it is for him to spot us in the heavy cover. So we can maintain control there for a little while. These are trying to engage the Pioneers, but do get absolutely hammered even at 3-star veterancy. They're not having a fun time. Lynx is moving up here. Recon vehicle trying to get some shots in just to help deal a little bit of damage or pin them down, but the Bren on their own, they're not very good. Just harassing the forces at the moment. Aircraft coming in for Gruvin. These are the Focke-Wulf 190s that have been causing me some issues, just trying to get the Bofors on target here to get some shots down. Unfortunately, this Bofors wasn't really placed very well. I'd moved towards the heavy cover and therefore wasn't really sitting in the right place to get shots onto the Focke-Wulf. But we got an S307 pack here and the Panzerhaubitze 39. They take out my poor Lynx Recon, and we see a massive armor push coming through here. My poor blades just need to do an absolute runner. These are 2-3-1s, Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs, just a big old blob. Against off-map, Gruvin would be absolutely destroyed, but at the moment, not planning to use it just yet. Got some 25-pounders coming in to maybe help get rid of the 88s that are building up, but that's about it. Move the Sherman 3 all the way back to the supply next to the 25-pounder so that I could then bring it up fixed up. The 3485's trying to get some shots in here. I got the 17-pounder creeping up on the left side. That does have 2,000 meter range, so we'll have plenty of time to fire at these units. I've also got two 17-pounders moving into the heavy cover here as well. 17-pounder firing away. Gonna take out one of the Panzer M4s. Looking to hopefully kill something else. Missed the shot onto the S307 pack. Our shot towards the U304 and missed that as well. So the Pioneers did try and push up here a little bit. You can see they got pushed off. The digger leader is providing 2 vet right now because of the dingo connection. So 3-star vet for the Oplites is really, really nice. Also getting 2-star vet on the 17-pounders, bring the digger leader over on purpose so that I can make sure these have the rate of fire to engage the amount of armor that is there. But even with like recon here, Grooven was doing a good job of just like keeping his blob out of line of sight, so I wasn't really ever sure where it was. Like having some Maori scouts in here would have been ideal, like move this one across, get it into cover here with the 17-pounders would have been ideal. But yeah, it was basically either intentionally or unintentionally keeping them out of line of sight, making it really difficult for me. He's also now got the Reinwerfer, which is the multiple mortar launcher. It absolutely demolishes my Kaladomis squads on this right hand side, instantly weakens them, and I'm forced to bring in my Maori squads. So the Maori are okay. I'm not sure they're as good as Oplites at close range now, because the Oplites, they have 2 submachine guns, the Leonfield and the Brenz, but because of Brenz an automatic rifle, they can use them within the 100 meter range, whereas the Maori, their MG is an MG34 and it technically classes a light machine gun. So that means that it can't be used within the 100 meter range, but to make up for that they do have extra submachine guns. So I think Maori are okay, but I think honestly Oplites are probably better now. Maori of course do have the Fanatic trait, which is nice, and at range Maori are really good. But yeah, I don't know, it's a weird choice, because the Oplites are still good at range as well. In this case they take a grenade from the Pioneers. After that happens, I'm going to use the Maori to engage and then move up the Flamer afterwards, and I'm also pushing in the Shermans on the side because I haven't seen any Panzergrens with Panzerfaust or anything like that, so just kind of making sure I can get some damage in where I can. Unfortunately, Maori taking 2 grenades there that time. Don't survive. Go down very quickly. Mortifiers trying to come in to pin them down just to stop them pushing up and pushing me off the flag. Going to be bringing in even more squads now just to make up for that. So at this point in the game, I was kind of lacking like close range infantry. I just had a lot of Maori, a lot of these Oplites, and that's primarily my infantry. So at the start we were really doing a number on him because we had Kaladomis and he only had Panzergrens, but now he has Pioneers and I only have Oplites and Maori. So the tables are turning in the close range engagement. I'm not able to push up because I'm worried about getting slammed by all the medium armor. So I'm just kind of trying to hold my position in the heavy cover, get my AT guns into good positions to attack any of the pushes coming through from Grooven, and that's pretty much the plan right now. And all the while Grooven's kind of like building up more and more stuff, so I am a little bit worried about it, but like, I've got plenty of like AT traps set up. In the meantime, because my Spitfires were just kind of idle, I do bring them in to get a few bombing strikes in here in the middle, just hit a couple of infantry squads, managed to bomb these 2 Sturm Pioneer. I did end up pinning down the Gavaria squad of Sturm Source, but it pushes off the Sturm Pios for now, which allows the 50 cal to get on target, so that's pretty handy. And none of those Spitfires died in the process, so that was even better. So again, Reinwerfer coming in, doing lots of damage, forcing the fallback. 81mm mortars moving over with its rounds. Both is here just chilling. Got more Maori on the way. German 3 is now fixed up, but I think it was actually a little while until I remembered to bring that back. Oh, we got the Arado coming in. There it is, dropping its 1,000 kilogram bomb. The jet bomber looking for the kill onto the Gavaria squad that was in here is going to miss. Does pin down the Gavaria, of course, as a big bomb. My 50 cal, unfortunately, dying to the Focke-Wulf 190, didn't have any Bofors on the left-hand side here. But I'm going to have more soon. 3 Bofors on the way, as you can see. This 25 pounder is still not unloaded. I didn't really have any targets for the 25 pounders, so I could shoot maybe the Pioneers or the Panzergrenz, but I primarily wanted to use it on the 88s, but the 88s were just always out of line of sight. And as soon as I, try and get up here, I'm just getting absolutely demolished by close range infantry right now, so I can't really afford to try and spot the 88 further back for those 25 pounders. I just wasn't thinking about needing to unload it. Carrier 30 cal, maybe not the best target for a Focke-Wulf 190. It's only 5 points after all. And that Focke-Wulf nearly went down for it, so that wouldn't have been worth it at all. But yeah, just now massing them up. Unmass with 3-star veterancy. Those submachine guns should be able to do the job for me. That's kind of what I'm hoping on. And since they are fanatic, if they do get happen to get pinned down, then they should be fine because they can't surrender. The Sturmpanzer there absolutely wrecking one of my uplight squads as it moves up, unfortunately. I think it actually got pushed out and then was trying to get back to cover, but got blown up. We're sitting at the 13 to 11 comfortably. 15 minutes, 54 seconds left. Trying to make back a little bit of ground here. Gruven being quite, I would say, it's just not being very active. I'm just, sorry, the word just like slipped my mind there, but basically he wasn't being very proactive and pushing towards me too much. And that was like allowing me just to like kind of chill out, but at the same time, like I knew he was obviously buying stuff because we've seen the blob. So at any point he could definitely push towards me, and I was a bit worried about that. But I just want to clear this out first. If I can get full control of this, then as infantry comes towards me again, I can engage it at range. And against the Pioneers, that is good. It just depends how many he has. So I managed to kill, I think, one of these Pioneers, but both of them get their HE grenades off, takes down 2 Maori squads. Sherman, I'm having to rush into cover, try and hit the Sturmpanzer. Yeah, not good engagements for me. I think both of these Shermans ended up taking shots and therefore being damaged. Trying to get shots from the 25 pounder now onto the Rheinwerfer, just to try and take that out because it was being quite difficult to deal with. But what I really should have done is just waited for these other Maori squads to arrive before pushing up, because last thing I want to do is take a HE grenade to the face like that. In that case I was pretty well off because the Maori were moved back preemptively. The T-34 here, going to be able to take out Panzer IV. My Sherman does hit one of the tanks further back, but finally Gruven's making a move. He's trying to push back onto us. My 17 pounder all the way back here in the town is taking shots at the SBW-231s, but the 6 pounder just get annihilated by the Sturmpanzer, and this T-34 just gets completely outnumbered. These Focke-Wulfs coming in. If these Bofors were unloaded, those would definitely have died, but unfortunately I didn't have them on like an unload at position command when I brought them in, which was a bit of a mistake. SBW-231 trying to push down this road. If I didn't have the Sherman 3 here, I would have been in trouble because I brought in 3 off-map vehicles at this point just to combat the blob. And they're going to hit pretty well. So there they go. Going to be definitely taking on the infantry quite well. We've got the mortar going to be engaging at the end here. There is, of course, 2 Sturmpanzers. Those are being a bit of a problem. The Maori aren't fighting too well against Pioneers. We'll be able to take out Panzergrenz most likely, though. SBW-222 goes down. T-34 is in trouble here. Sherman's going to try and get these Pioneers pinned and is basically ready to take on any units that come opposite it, but it changes target a lot. Unfortunately, goes down If I just right-click something there, that would have been way better off. I might have actually been able to trade that Sherman, but it goes down. I've got 3 off-map vehicles here. I'm really, really worried about this breakthrough. It's a really, really unconventional tactic from Gruvin. He managed to avoid the off-map with this group of units, which is pretty tough to deal with, actually, because it's 2 Sturmpanzers, so they can deal with any sort of support weapons. And then you've got an S-307 pack and the Panzer III and the 105s. Now here, because I fired the 81mm mortar, I end up taking an Ironwerfer strike to the face, and that kills one of my off-map vehicles. So I even lose that as well. The Digger leader is trying to get behind this little group of armoured vehicles and get some shots in with its Piat. So I'm able to take out a couple of stragglers. I take out the Panzerhaubitze, I take out the S-307 pack. Just dropping some off-map now. I've really got to stop this push coming through. I've got loads of infantry on the way to try and get into the heavy cover here. But of course, that's not my big problem right now. I'm really worried that this infantry is not even going to get close enough to get to the heavy cover, because if all of this stuff sets up here, especially like the Sturmpanzers, like I'm in big trouble. 81mm mortar gets annihilated. One of my boats is already dead. The second one is going to be dying shortly after. And all of this infantry is just in trouble. So more Shermans now bought on the way. I was sitting on quite a lot of points because Gruvin was being very inactive. Spitfire's going to come in for the bombing strikes. Going to be going for both these Sturmpanzers. They have taken a little bit of damage from artillery in the past. So I'm able to drop 1 set of bombs and kill 1 Sturmpanzer. The 88 stops the other from releasing its bombs. This is super important because I need to keep these alive. My artillery command almost dying already. Get the bombs off with that Spitfire. Kill the second Sturmpanzer. Super important kill there. And the third one, well, that's technically a 4th Spitfire coming in for the kill onto the Grille. So I managed to neutralize it was quite clutch, but yeah, managed to neutralize all of the anti-infantry and anti-support weapon vehicles that Gruvin had, and he's basically falling back now with the rest of his forces. So a very potent attack there from Gruvin, and it was very difficult for me to deal with. I didn't really have what I needed to be prepared for that. Having an AT gun back here would have been perfect, because you can fire right up the road with it. Unfortunately, it looks like my off-map vehicles were kind of spotted off to the side here, and so I get an artillery shell on one of them. My Dingo's under pressure. It's not great. Hoplites getting pinned down by the Ironwerfer. Loads of pioneers here. Like, this engagement's really bad. This engagement's bad. Hoplites engaging this unit at range is fine, but just about managed to get my Digger leader out of there. Keeping the extra veterancy on the Maori is super important right now, just to stop them taking this much damage. The Shermans have arrived. We're going to be moving them up. And all of a sudden, what was quite a passive game to begin with has exploded into an all-out brawl. Gruvin really just biding his time to create a huge push that he then pushed through this really close combat area, which I just did not expect at all. It caught me completely off guard, killed loads of my stuff at the back, and now I'm just fighting to get it back. We're back to 12-12 in the game. It's all to play for once again. Arado's coming in, dropping bombs onto my infantry in the cover here. Unfortunately, my scouts are going to go down, and my 17-pounder dies as well. Things are not looking great. Air support coming in from Otago really doing a number on me there. And in the middle, we have lost the flag on our side of the river, so that's not great either. And as I said, it's back to 12-12, mainly because I'm just about holding on to this flag. Otherwise, our opponents would actually be in the lead right now in terms of overall flags. The Sherman's moving through. A little bit of a mistake from Gruvin. He gets a little over-ambitious going for my infantry, and it does cost him quite a lot of men here. The Pioneer's obviously just not suited for the Shermans. He might have assumed that I didn't really have many Shermans left to defend this, since he managed to push through so cleanly before. But with that, absolutely demolish his pioneers with the Spitfires. The bombers just not really able to get the job done in time. The nice thing about these Spitfires is just their speed is so good. Like, for a fighter bomber with that payload, very, very nice indeed. So, able to drop those bombs. Got plenty of close range infantry kills there. And if I can kill all of Gruvin's pioneers, I will win the close range engagement, because Oblites and Diggers are both better than Panzergrens at close range due to the Bren being able to be used at close range. In that case, though, double surrender is not fantastic for me. My Sherman's going for a little bit of a engagement here. One of the Panzerhaubitzers does go down. The Panzer 4G also goes down. I do lose one Sherman. Take out the second Panzerhaubitzer, but lose a second Sherman. And that's not the best trade for me, especially with both of these Shermans also taking hits. Sherman 3 trying to move up through the close cover is getting hit hard. Without infantry support, that's not the best play for me. But I am also managing the Shermans back here. And yeah, what was quite a calm and collected game really just took off, and Gruvin catching me out with the sheer force that he pushed at us. My Sherman going for that engagement. It's more of a 50-50 when you got two M4s against each other. The only benefit for me, of course, is that I got the 2-star veterancy. Managed to bounce an 88 shot there. That was pretty lucky. We lose our Sherman 3. He loses his M4 because the 17-pounder gets the shot on target. Now this Sherman 3 playing with fire. The Pioneer squad going to be able to get a grenade onto the Maori. Takes them out. Potentially throughout this game I could have tried to do a little better with my HE management, so trying to dodge more of those HE grenades. But when your squads are that low, it's sometimes not even worth trying to dodge. Especially if you've got other things you're trying to manage, like these armoured engagements. So just taking out the Panzer IV there, trading with the S307 pack. Absolutely crazy stuff going on right now. Just check out how much this got absolutely annihilated. Just so many wrecks up this road, with all of the artillery fire coming down from all the different off-map vehicles. It was like a pristine forest, just got absolutely annihilated. But the Lynx here and the carrier is actually doing a pretty good job on this Panzergrens. I'm trying to use these Spitfires as much as I can to take out these infantry units. Because again, if I can shut down the Pioneers, we should be able to win the close range engagements from there on out. Now currently 13-11 because we're losing the crossroad again, and we are going to start losing tickets on our team. But yeah, this game is far from over. Oplites coming in. Oh, sorry, artillery coming in, killing the Oplites. Diggers getting pinned down, only one man left. This artillery was just really, really difficult for me to deal with. And I was trying to use my 25-pounders throughout the game to like counter battery, for example. But it just really wasn't happening. I think this was actually the first time, though, that I targeted all of this artillery because I noticed it was relatively close together. So all my 25-pounders finally going to be firing away. Unloaded a couple more, or a few more there, just to get that counter battery going. A bit more Maori on the way. As you can see, every tick just bringing in more and more. Got a bunch of Shermans here. They're just chilling out, waiting for the next attack. But my plan at this point is pretty much to try and take back the heavy cover from the Panzergrens. That's it. And then once I do that, I can use my infantry to scout my tanks through the light cover and then engage his armor. We haven't seen a King Tiger yet. We are up against the 21st Panzer, remember? But a King Tiger ultimately doesn't work too well in this engagement range. Like, ideally, like maybe a King Tiger back here would be good if you were being attacked from this direction. King Tiger maybe in here would be okay if you were being attacked up the road. But if you get too close with the King Tiger, they become such an easy target to kill off, just like any other armor at close range. 17 pounders still getting shots in, take out a Panzer IV-G as it tries to turn around the crossroad. It's a really nice position this is for the 17 pounder because it can fire at vehicles as they slow down to take the corner. Maori takes out one squad, looking for a second. Artillery command taking on Pioneers. Not ideal. I need to keep these artillery commands alive because they're providing the 3-star veterancy. I've got my Dingo all the way back here connected to those. So Panzer IVs on their way up. This Sherman 3 just in such a bad position right now. The Panzer IVs are currently on the move. So I managed to bail out one. As soon as they stop, those Panzer IVs are going to get a lot more accurate, and as you can see, my Sherman 3 not able to move out the way in time. Okay, so one thing to really note here, as you can see, I gave all of these Shermans an attack move order to move to the right, but I noticed this one was damaged, so I pulled it back. So that the other Shermans could then move forwards first and take the shots from the Panzer IVs, and then I can move this one back up afterwards and continue those engagements. The other thing that's quite important in this position is to have as many of the Shermans move up and engage at the same time as possible. So I managed to get the better of 2 Panzer IVs there. Obviously one was already bailed out, and Gruven's going to be backing off once again from those close range engagements. Like, this was a really fun game at this point. I was really enjoying these this brawl on the right hand side of the map. Now on the left, AIM's done a pretty good job of taking this flag, so we're back to the 1311. I'm holding this crossroad here still. We take out another Panzer IV-G with the Shermans. The Sherman 3 trying to go for the Panzer IV-G engagement, but does get taken out in the process. I think I actually bounced the Panzer IV-G, unfortunately. Looking to try and finish it off. Do manage to do so. SPW 222 just bouncing off us. Got a stag hound here. That's giving me the recon I need to help the Sherman move up. Also does have decent penetration against those Panzer IVs. So we managed to take out the armour, capture the flag. The Maori making ground now. Now this artillery is really still a big problem. Haven't really managed to shut it down very well. Going to be just constantly trying to hit it with the 25 pounders from this point forwards. Panzerschrecks are of course an issue, especially in this sort of situation where it's almost the perfect range to engage any armour on the road. So got to make sure I clean them out. Artillery command has died now on both sides of the trees due to this artillery fire. Not great. Take out the 222, that's good. And just look at the smoke piles once again. This road. Just an absolute... just wrecked everywhere. It's just a wasteland. It's crazy. Reinwerfer firing away once again. He's now got 2 of them. Makes it even harder for me. They're getting more Maori coming in and getting hit by the more Pioneers. As long as he's got Pioneers, he can push me back. They're going to be really careful with the engagement still. But we do have this flag. And 14 to 10 means 10 minutes till victory. I got some MGs on the way. These are MG42s. Captured MG42s. German 3 engaging the Panzergrenz. Now, as long as I control these 2 flags, I don't really have to buy like too many more things. So I'm kind of sitting pretty. I've managed to sort of repel the repel his attack and counterattack through the trees in order to gain back this flag now. With the bombers coming in, the Spitfires, they were so invaluable in taking out a lot of the infantry that really would have made it difficult for me to push forwards. If his AA was a little bit further up, probably would have been almost impossible. So like the 88s, like maybe just buy like have 2 further back maybe, and then buy extra for further up. That might have been a way to do it, but either way, it's pretty much too late for that because the Pioneers are already dead. And I think with the 21st Panzer, you're only ever going to bring like 1 or maybe even 2 cards of Pioneers. And one of those Pioneer cards is going to be early on. So you're only going to have like, I don't know, 25 maybe. 10 in B, 15 in C. And since I have like quite a lot of Mari and Hoplites, I can still, you know, throw these into them and just make sure that I whittle down the Pioneer squads. Also get my bombers onto them, get any artillery onto them, whittle down his close range infantry, and then not only like any close infantry I've got left, but also my ranged infantry can beat his infantry at close range. So I would have an advantage for the rest of the game from that point forwards. We're seeing another armor push coming through. Reuven not giving up. He's built up another force of tanks. He's coming back at us. Reuven's like wave style attacks were actually very difficult for me to deal with. So props to him. It's quite an unconventional strategy in Star Division 2. And maybe in like the super late game it sometimes happens if you're running like Juggernaut decks. But like at this point it was like being able to just like bring up another blob one after the other was quite crazy. Now of course he does actually use a Juggernaut division type or deployment type in this case, so that does explain like his tactics in a lot of ways, especially being more passive in the early game due to the Juggernaut as well. Like in Phase B we have quite a large advantage with the second New Zealand really. But yeah, it's still to play for. Bofors here have moved up. I've got another couple. We still got all the Bofors in the town over here. These are in positions behind the houses, so they can't really be shot at from a distance by any 2,000 meter range HE like Griller or Sturmpanzer or like an IG or something like that. I have now finally got a 17 pounder that can shoot up this road as well. This should have been here a lot sooner, but I completely forgot about this position. This is a position that I'm familiar with, like in campaign games and playing like Breakthrough, but I completely forgot about for the multiplayer. Would absolutely demolish stuff coming down this road. Another Pioneer there. We managed to shoot down one of the bombers there, the jet bombers. I think both of them went down. Really big loss for Otago when he loses his jet bombers, because you've only got like a maximum of 4 of those. But 3 more Pioneers. Managed to kill off 1. 2 still alive. I managed to dodge one of the HE grenades, which is pretty big. This Maori is actually engaging at range, so manages to pin down the Pioneer on his own. Absolute Chad of a soldier. Going after him. Unfortunately, not for long. Smoke now coming down onto the main road. And when you see smoke like that from a Rheinwerfer, you can generally expect an attack afterwards. As you can see, I am bringing up a bunch more Shermans. So, again, it was getting to the point where I was sitting on quite a lot of points because after sort of securing both the flags again, I wasn't really reinforcing to push any further because, again, the flags are quite far back. So, yeah, I was sitting on quite a stockpile. I just decided this time to bring up the Shermans preemptively because it's going to be only a matter of time until he launches another full-scale attack at us. And I've got more infantry on the way as well. On the left side, Ames managed to capture the flag all the way up. Done a good number on Jonker here. Using the Gavardia, just absolutely human waving across the open ground. He's also got IS-2s, and these IS-2s of course make it very difficult for Jonker to actually do anything with the 12th SS. At this sort of range, these IS-2s are perfect. 17 pounder takes out the Panzer IV. I'm looking to maybe pick off any other armour that's hanging about. These MG42s though starting to fire away at the Panzergrenz. You can see the 88 there, and well, finally I get to use the 25 pounders for the reason I brought them in to begin with, which was to kill the anti-air. So Black 41 going to come under a lot of fire. We do have corrected shot, so that's nice. Helping us out with the accuracy. That's going to be because the digger leader's this far up on the left hand side there. But the artillery coming in on this side was really rough for me to deal with. Like, I think it was pretty much Hummels maybe, because they were moving around quite a lot. But those big shells, they can really pin quite a large area. Like, it's 150mm caliber, they have quite big blasts, so they put a lot of suppression down around. And if he puts like one here, and then one here, it just makes it impossible to push past it, because I want to remain in the heavy cover in order to make ground. If I move out into the open or into the light cover, then it allows other things to shoot at me, like the Grille or the Panzergrens or any tank that's like got line of sight. So it's quite difficult. Stat count here, just making a push across, mainly so that I can keep eyes on this side of the tree line. That's why I'm also trying to move up the scouts, but the scouts are in a pretty awkward position for me. Stat count actually managing to get a nice shot on target there on the half track, missing the second shot after hitting the first. Finishing that off nicely, and the uplights engaging the Pioneers here. This uplight took the HE grenade from this one, so able to just continue that engagement afterward. Panzer IVs show themselves in the position here. This uplight doesn't manage to really dodge that grenade very well. I brought up more Shermans, would you look at that? There's even more on the field. We've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 Shermans. And I'm going to be bringing up another 2 there. See how many more we can bring in. 3, 4, that's 20. 20 Shermans. And they're all getting ready to make a big push. So we're going to be using Gruvin's tactics against him. I saved up a lot of points at this point because, and we're still holding on to this objective at the crossroad. We're still in the lead with 13 to 11. It looks like Chonka did manage to push back the IS-2s with the help of Gruvin's King Tiger. So that's helping out against AIM on that side. But we're just about ready to make a big old push with the Shermans. So you can see I put them into this formation. You can do that by holding right click. You can actually hold right click and then drag in a certain direction, and you can use it to create different formations. So I create a 2-line formation here. This is really important. As I was saying with the engagement here, making sure all of your tanks engage at the same time or get line of sight at the same time is super important. So the idea is to drive out in 2 lines that can engage anything up here. I got the 17 pounders just absolutely slamming this crossroad. The Sturmpanzer already crew killed. The Panzer IV's not going to last long at all. No chance for him to take back that. But here go the Shermans pushing round the corner. The New Zealand armoured charge coming through. Those poor Panzergrens unloading onto the road there. And yeah, you can just see the full firepower is able to be used at the same time, and I'm using the formation to drive them up in almost a column. Now this would be really bad if he had like a bunch of bombers that could maybe come around and pin these all, but I'm confident that he doesn't because it's 21st Panzer. Like, worst he could do is probably use Focke-Wulfs on me. 88 here, still alive from the 25 pounder fire, but do manage to get a shot on target just in time. Panzer IVs round the corner waiting for the Shermans. Panzer IV for Sherman, trading 1 for 1's fine for me at this point. I completely outnumber him. 2 Shermans down, 2 more Panzer IVs go down, another Sherman down. That's 3 for 3. Another Panzer IV for another Sherman. Panzer IV goes down, 2 more dead. Absolutely crazy engagement. Another Panzer IV-H looking to kill that off. Getting front armor facing to the U-304 pack so they don't get any easy kills. Sherman 3 does go down. Panzergrens are getting annihilated. Sturmsource does have his T-34-85s here. S-307 pack gonna get taken out. But now I have a problem. There's a King Tiger. That's an issue. I'm hoping that the bombing strike can help us out there. Unfortunately, it kind of misses the mark. The PE-2's not really getting the job done. I've got to get rid of this 88 that's cross-firing me. I've got to surrender these Panzergrens, so I'm getting rid of all of those. This Panzergren does manage to get a Panzerfaust shot off. I also kill the 81mm mortar, but I need to get out of the way of that King Tiger and just stop letting it free fire on my Shermans. So going to be moving around the flank here. This is also a good opportunity for me to kill his artillery. So we're looking for the Rheinwerfers. If I can kill those off, that'd be absolutely fantastic. The King Tiger still proving to be an issue, though. I can't penetrate in the front armor from this range. managed to kill the Rheinwerfer. We're down to only 7 tanks. What started at 20 Sherman 3s is down to 7. Still pushing forwards heroically towards the King Tiger. Another one goes down, only 6 left. T-34-85, 1944s moving in for the kill, trying to get the side armor shot. Bombs come down. King Tiger's actually gonna surrender instead of die. And what a game this was towards the end. Like, absolutely insane charge there between myself and Sturmstorz. We completely break the back of Gruvin. He did not see it coming. And 20 Shermans absolutely annihilating him. I think it might have been just less than that total, because these were 4 extra that I just wasn't microing towards the end because it was the end of the game. And there you have it. After 50 minutes and 41 seconds, we get the minor victory. 5,400 kills to 3,685 losses. So what started off as a very passive game just absolutely took off when Gruvin hit his Juggernaut phase C. And yeah, honestly, Gruvin really caught me off guard with his like unorthodox strategy. Usually, even with Juggernaut, you kind of try and contest the flags earlier on, but he kind of just waited, bided his time, built up a big force of units, and just pushed all the way through. And I was just sitting on a lot of points, and he just took complete advantage of it. But in the end, we managed to take it back. The Spitfire's doing an absolute number on him, killing a lot of infantry for us, taking out the Sturmpanzers at an absolutely critical point. Those Sturmpanzers and the Grille could have had an absolute field day on the amount of infantry I had in front of them if the Spitfires hadn't killed them. It would have been awful. 17 pounder though, this was the one in the town, did a lot of damage to units that were getting caught on the corner of that crossroad, so that was a really, really nice position for me. Didn't get targeted by artillery much at all because probably didn't have line of sight or like onto the 17 pounder for much, so probably didn't really understand where they were getting killed from, especially with the max range being used. The Sherman 3 there managed to kill like a pack 43 and 2 Panzer 4s. Like towards the end, it's just all Sherman kills. There are a few Marius kills in here. Like the infantry engagement was actually super important in this game, making sure that I killed off the pioneers so that I could continue the engagement with my line infantry afterwards, which would win against Panzergrenze at close range, was really, really important. So as you can see in the end, it was in fact the 150mm armored artillery that was being a problem for me from Gruvin. And yeah, he was using them well, and he was making sure to move them very well, make sure he was dodging my 25 pounder fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Shermans lost in that last push. It was a big one, that's for sure. Especially with the extra T-34-85s there from Sturmstorz. I think if those weren't there, I'm not sure my 6 Shermans that I had left on the push would have been able to kill the King Tiger. Maybe if they managed to like pin it themselves, but yeah, it would have been very difficult. The bombing strike, you know, helping surrender it was pretty important. I guess though that the T-34-85s of the APCR would have done the job regardless, but even so, what an incredible finish to that game. It was so much fun. Really, really big thanks to everyone who played in this one, and Commiserations to Gruvin. Played really well though, and definitely caught me off guard with his like unorthodox wave pushing with the Juggernaut. Something that was like reminiscent of like Harbinger's T-34 pushes, if any of you guys are familiar with the streams. This was actually played on stream, so if you guys want to get involved in these games, do make sure to check out my Twitch channel. Link is in the description. But that is it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that one. It's really nice to be able to do a commentary again like this. Like, my voice is back. It's crazy. I love it. Alright. Super exciting game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.